Hello, my name is Apostle Nelson, and I'm going to talk about how I became a false prophet. You know, I went onto the internet. I started searching for dark sites, and at that time, because I was coming from Malawi, I was just coming from Malawi. So when I was coming from Malawi, I actually met a guy. His name was Botolo. He called himself Boto. So now when I met that man, I was shocked with whatever he did. So in my mind, I had this age in me where I wanted to use whatever he was using in church, but there was a bit of a misunderstanding between me and him, so I didn't actually get the spirit from him, because this man was able to tell me my names, everything, just like we see it in church. And this was more like a wow unto me. When I saw it, I saw how the man was operating. I said, wow, this is, I think, something that I need. So now when there was a problem between me and him, I went my way actually. And from that time, I went through the internet. The internet has got a lot of things. There are a lot of rituals on the internet. There are a lot of anything that you need. So now, I went through now on the internet. I started searching on the internet. Then I came across a man by the name of Damien. His name is Damien, the founder of the Church of Satan in Colombia. So now, as I met this man, we went into a conversation, me and him. We went into a conversation. After going into a conversation, the man started introducing me into what he called Luciferianism. So this is something that is, highly practiced by the people from Spain. The Spanish guys, they practice a lot of Luciferianism. And according to him, he was saying he has never had a student from Africa. So I was the only student from Africa who was learning Luciferianism from this man. So now, as we began chatting, because this man is mostly specialized into rituals. He sells rituals, he sells pacts. When you want to sign a pact with the devil, when you want to sign a pact with an entity. So this is how I came into contact with this man. So when I came into contact with Damien, his name is Victor Damien. So as I came into this conversation with this man, we started talking, and when we started talking, he started now telling me rituals. He started giving me rituals, what I needed to do, and the times. A ritual is actually something that ushers you into the spiritual realm, something that rushes you to an entity. You understand? So when you do a ritual, mostly it is ushering you, it is connecting you to a realm, a spiritual realm, a demonic realm. So this was something which this man started introducing me. So he would send me the requirements, because each ritual has got its own requirement. There are different requirements, different candles, different type of perfumes that are supposed to be used in any ritual. So we got communicating, and he started teaching me things. First of all, I had to understand everything that this man was telling me. So now, we could communicate. He gives me this, I try it out. Yeah, at that time, nothing was making sense because I didn't have the access to the spirit. Nothing was making sense. I didn't have that access. So now, as we continued moving, I was so committed to this because I really needed this spirit with me. I really needed this spirit of prophecy. I really needed to be ushered into the spiritual realm. I really needed this thing. So now, what I did from there now, there's a guy called Martin. There's a guy called Martin and a guy called Daniela, because this guy had formed a WhatsApp group where we belonged into that group. So there was a lady by the name of Daniela and a guy called Martin. So me and Martin now, we started communicating. You understand? We'd go through the rituals. Where I don't understand, I ask him. Where I don't know anything, I would ask from this man. So now we reached at a point where this guy saw the zeal that was in me, the evil zeal that was in me. Martin said, no, I think there's a guy with your how you are moving with this level, there's a guy I would introduce you to. So the guy who he introduced me now, this is Diego. Diego, he calls himself the incarnate of the devil. He calls himself the incarnate of the devil. You know, I was so amazed with the knowledge that Diego had, because Diego had to give me different now knowledge, you know, where this other guy left me, Diego now picked it from there. This guy is a master of the art. He is the master of the art. Now, Diego started taking me into deeper rituals. They introduce now the 4 elements of the earth: the light, the air, the fire, the water, those ones, and their color representation. So rituals were sent to me, of which I was now supposed to start going through. So all this foundation of all this thing is coming from the dark mass, the black mass, the satanic mass. The funny thing, you know how the devil had made it? I paid nothing. I never paid anything. All that was sent for free. So now, these incantations, I was supposed to be hearing them. So most of the time, I would move with earphones. Earphones, just listening to incantations. I'm listening to them part by part, part by part. So now, the spiritual realm was opened at this time. It was opened. The spiritual realm, this is an open spiritual space. When we talk about the spiritual realm, is an open spiritual space. But what matters is the permission. Where do you get this permission? Okay? So you must now be aligned with a spirit, with a deity, an entity that is going to give you the access to this realm. You need this access. So when this realm is opened, you will be able to see both sides. You can see the kingdom of God and you can see the kingdom of the enemy. You will know your enemy. You will know those that are moving with God, you know them. I started seeing these things. Now, in most of these so-called prophetic churches, mostly you'd find there's a lady who is highly respected, even more than the wife of the pastor. They even have their own seat. They are even given these positions, the chair lady, the one. She's highly respected, and most of these ladies should either be a widow or someone who divorced. They don't want those that are married. That woman will be sitting on her own, highly respected. The church will be paying for her rent, paying for her bills, doing everything for her, because she is a spiritual host. She is hosting the spirit that is controlling the church. So each time he wants to ascend to the pulpit, he needs to sleep with this lady so that he charges himself with those spirits now, so that he can go and perform miracles, prophecy, whatever he wants to perform. There now, when I was in South Africa, when we came from, after he introduced me to those things, I saw what he does now. There was a service that night. So he gave me the platform to minister. So when he gave me this platform to minister, instead of using what he gave me, I used both of them. I now activated the Luciferian in me. The other interesting part, which I want you to follow, is the part of the conversation. I want you to follow me nicely here, the part of the conversation where now the man will be speaking to the demon, to the so-called demon. That is hypnotist. Someone is hypnotized. Someone is hypnotized. Then the man, he will engage into a conversation with a spirit. What is happening? The spirit which he is speaking to in a person, it is him who is commanding the spirit. It is him who has sent the spirit into the person. So now you'll be asking the spirit, who are you? Who are you? At the count of 4, or the count of what? It is him who is conversating with the spirit. That is a game which they are playing. It is Osapikan. That is a game which is being played there. He is speaking to the spirit. If you followed this guy so well, you are going to believe me. There's a part where they will say, do not remind them of what has happened. Do not remind them. Because if you ask the person, the things which they will be confessing, the so-called confession, the things which they will be speaking, which they will say it is not him speaking, it is the spirit. True. It is not him, and he does not even know those things. So whatever is happening, it is him having a conversation with his demon. It is him who has sent that spirit there. Now they will act in a conversation, and the person will start speaking things. Speaking things which they do not even understand. Even at the end of the service, if you ask the person, you said this, you said this, you said, you are now making fake, false testimonies, false confessions, things which you do not even know, and you'll be there. No, don't remind them of what has happened. But meanwhile, he is taking a video of whatever is happening. But then he is telling you not to remind them of what happened there. Don't tell them what has happened there. So this is all part of Osapikan. It is the witchcraft part. And how do you know that this guy is using this Osapikan thing? When you follow their tongues, their demonic tongues, you are going to get this repetition type of tongues. Just know witchcraft is at play. La 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 la. Le 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 le. No 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 no. That is a witchcraft happening. That is witchcraft happening there. He is engaging in a demonic conversation, speaking with these so-called demons.